So when your sickle bar arrives, what you want to do is put it on your machine right away, and before you even bother putting the bar on, you just want to test everything and make sure all the fittings are tight, there's no leaks, there's no damage to the hoses, everything works properly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a little run here, and then you can see how it operates. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through our package here, and we're just going to make sure that everything has showed up that needs to be here. So we've got the main guide bar, and then we've got the cutting edge, and then what we want to have here is we want to double check and make sure in the box that we've got our electric controls. We've got a little Allen head, 5/16 Allen head, and that's to adjust our main yoke inside. There always comes with an extra box of blades, a guide bar, and an instruction manual. Just check for that and make sure that everything's good to go, and then you're ready to assemble. Next thing we're going to do is just going to operate it, and we're going to turn down the drive system so that it's laying flat on the ground. That's going to make it a lot easier for us to put our guide bar on. Guide bar in place here. What's really important here is that the guide bar is going to fit down inside these blocks here. So you want to tighten it slowly so that it goes down inside there quite easily. If you have to force it, then you're not doing it right. You want to just back it off a little bit, and just kind of wiggle it as you're tightening it down, and it'll go right into place. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just lifted up one end, just to make it easier to go in and slide into this block here. And I'm just going to tighten it down a little at a time, just so it goes down evenly. You can actually see the paint rubbing off as it goes down. It's a really, really tight fit. So what we're going to do is we'll have this fully assembled, and then we're going to go back over it again, and we're just going to double tighten it again just to double check and make sure everything's good. It's really important that this bar is torqued down nice and strong so that it doesn't move at all. It's locked into place. That's why there's these blocks here that it has to go into. Okay, looks good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the knives and we're going to slide them in from behind. So it's going to come in through the back here, and it's going to slide all the way up through the channel in the guide bar. And that's the easiest way of getting this together. You don't want to put the whole thing together at once and try and work on it. You just want to put the guide bar in, slide in the knife edge, and then just as the knife edge goes in, we slide the spud into place and we lock that up inside here, and we'll show you that as well. I just want to point something out about this guide bar. A lot of times these arrive, they come in a separate package, and so people will think that they're actually damaged because it's got a bit of a bend here. This is a pre-cone angle. That's a similar thing that they do in helicopter blades. And the idea is that we know that the blade's going to sag as it goes off the side of the machine. So what we do is we put an angle on it so that when it sags, it comes out straight. So don't worry if you see anything like this. This is what it's designed to be like this. It's designed to have a bit of an angle so that when you're carrying it along, it's going to lay flat. The knife, I'll run through the back side here, and it's just already laid out into the guides. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to push it through from behind. These things are razor sharp. Make sure you're wearing a good pair of gloves. Whenever you touch anything like this, they'll take your finger off instantly. So just make sure you're being very, very careful when you're handling this. I just fed it through the back side here, and now we're going to just push it through the rest of the way. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to push it now, because what I want to do is I want to attach the spud and then put the spud up inside. So we'll give you a real close-up shot of that now. Okay, so what I've done here is installed the spud, and just before I lifted the machine up, what I did was I just turned it on a little bit until I got this with the bolt faces facing outward. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just makes it a lot easier when I slide it in together here. And I loosened off this, slid the spud through. All I'm going to do now is tighten it up. You tighten it until you see it come together here. Okay, now we know the spud's trapped in here. It still moves nicely. And all I'm going to do is slide this up into place. And sometimes it needs a little bit of persuasion. Okay, we're just going to tap this into place now, sliding it the rest of the way in. And sometimes it needs a little bit of persuasion. The idea is to get this spud into position. You see now it's all lined up here so I can put my bolts in. So the next thing I'll do is grab the bolts. Okay, and there's the tool that came along with your sickle. Just going to use that to tighten it down, and then we're going to torque it to 59 foot-pounds. Last thing we want to install is our guide bar. It goes right here. This makes it easier for us to see where our cut line is going to be. Okay, then the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a functional check of this, make sure everything works, and then we'll go do some cutting.
Revolution at Skid Steer Solution.